Hi, and welcome to the Feel Good Violin Club. My name is Liz, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the 4 most common challenges that I see adult violin students facing. So if you are thinking about starting violin, or if you've been playing for a while, or if you're a beginner, it doesn't really matter what level. These are the 4 things that I really see almost all adult students facing. So make sure to stick around, because the last segment of this video is where things get real. By far the most common challenge and frustration for anybody picking up the violin for the first time, or really anybody just playing, is that it's hard to make a good sound. It's hard to make a good sound. The rumors are true. So if you are struggling with that, it's not just you. There's probably nothing significantly wrong with your instrument, and it's just going to take a little bit of time to figure out. So if you want more tips about how to make a good sound, I encourage you to refer to my How to Make a Good Sound video, which I will make sure to link to in all of the places. And I will also be very shortly posting a follow-up to this video, How to Make a Good Sound Part 2. So if you're interested in more tips about how to make a good sound on the violin, you can hit the subscribe button, and that will be coming soon. So no matter what, I want to encourage you, if this is something that you're working on, if sound is really a struggle for you, just keep at it. It takes time for everyone, and you're probably making more progress than you think. The second obstacle, the second challenge that I find is very common in adult learners, adult students, is tension. Tightness in the body. It's very common that adult learners talk about it in their left hands, and I see it too. There's sort of compression between the fingers, there's compression in the knuckles, and often a lot of tightness right between our thumb and our palm, right where we grip the violin. And there are a few reasons for this. I think if you are just starting, your body just isn't used to the demands being placed on it yet, and so there will be a period of adjustment and getting used to these new movements. But I also think that it has something to do with just wanting to do well. When we care about doing well, when we have high expectations of ourselves, when we want to be in control, all of those things can lead to a feeling of tightness and tension in the body. So if this is something that you're struggling with, I think the best tip I have is to be aware of it. Be aware of it when you're playing, when you're practicing, and see if you can kind of set the intention to explore on the other side of this tension stuff, to explore looseness, to see how much pressure do I actually need? Do I really need to press the string down as hard as I am? Do I need to be gripping this much with my thumb? And I would stay aware about this idea of how our mental state really affects our physical state. If we are tight in our minds, if we are worried, if we're worked up, if we are feeling really perfectionisty about what we're doing, that is really likely to manifest itself in physical buildup, physical tension. So if this mental, physical stuff is something that you want to work on, I have a resource that I've created exactly for this purpose, which is called the Feel Good Practice Planner. If you want a way to approach your practice with a little more awareness, a little more attention and generosity with yourself, I encourage you to check this out. I will link to this resource in the description box, and you can sign up and get it free sent to your inbox. The third most common obstacle I see in adult learners is not really knowing how to practice. I often see that people will have the inclination to sort of just play through their music and then not really know where to go from there, or not really understand why it hasn't gotten better. But there are a few just key ideas about practicing that maybe you've heard floating around that we really mean them. And I'll just give you a few. Practicing things slowly is so valuable. We're not just saying that, we really mean it. So if there's something that isn't quite working for you, take it down like 10 notches and see if that space and that time allows you to see what it is that isn't working. If you can do things beautifully slowly, you can do things quickly beautifully. Does that make sense? If you can do things beautifully at a slow tempo, that is really the groundwork and the basis for doing things beautifully at performance tempo. We also really mean it when we talk about isolating problems. So if there's a certain little thing that gives you a hard time each time, I bet if you do it a few times in a mindful, thoughtful, slow approach, you are very likely to make some progress. So practicing isn't just playing. Practicing is a methodical way that we learn and that we teach ourselves. The last obstacle is something that I find is very common in adult learners, and this is a feeling of self-doubt, vulnerability, and insecurity about playing. It is really common to feel shy and insecure about how you sound if you are just learning, or even if you're coming back to your instrument after a long time away. As an adult, you've heard amazing violinists. You've heard the kind of golden tones that we can create with this instrument, and it is hard, it really is, to not let that affect your expectation of yourself. And I've heard this manifested in all sorts of different ways. I've heard about, never wanting to play too loud in your apartment building because you don't want the neighbors to hear you, or always practicing with a mute on, or feeling this sort of reflex to apologize anytime something doesn't go quite right or you make a bad sound. I want you to know that as violin teachers, we've heard all the sounds, so there's truly no sound that you can create that we would find truly offensive. We've heard them all, and we know that they're just part of the process. But I think it's important to know too that if you're always playing quietly or with your mute on or feeling like you need to apologize, you aren't getting the most benefit that you could out of this experience of playing. You picked up the instrument because you wanted to play. And as a listener, as a music lover, that's also what I want to hear. I want to hear people playing. So if you fit into this category, if any of these stories sort of resonate with you, I just want to encourage you to play with that edge of what's comfortable in your playing, because you will get so much more out of the experience that way. Try playing without the mute on. Try playing a real full forte and filling the room with your sound. Or, as I really like to say to my students, play it like you mean it. You will find that this process is so much more rewarding that way. If any points in today's video really resonated with you, I hope you'll share with me in the comments. I would love to know about your experience. And if you would like more videos where I talk kind of about this more sensitive, emotional, maybe vulnerable side of playing, you can let me know that in the comments as well. We have more coming soon, so if you liked this video, I hope you'll give us a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, and I look very much forward to seeing you again next time. Bye.